we're still waiting for 30 Hating episode 1. This is going to be another food video, and I'm going to share with you today kind of something really special to me. This is my grandfather's ravioli recipe. All right, so first off with your sauce. You can pretty much, I'm not going to spend much time on this, you could pretty much pick any good sauce. Just let it simmer all day. That is the trick. Now onto the dough. The dough, you're going to want to obviously clean your prep your surface because you're going to be getting raw dough on this. You're going to want to go with 3 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt. You can go maybe a tablespoon if you want. Definitely go with 2 tablespoons of oil. And then the next thing you want to do is take 3 eggs, go ahead and whisk them up, and then add them to the center in kind of a little moat. And now you're going to want to go and wash your hands. All right, you can stop now. Okay, so go ahead and mix this up. Now, compared to the, pizza dough that I'm used to making, the dough is not going to be fluffy. There's no yeast in it, so it's going to be different. It's going to almost feel like Play-Doh, hard Play-Doh. So go ahead, mash it up, get it nice and, work it out, and it should look like this. This is actually looking very, very good. All right, now the ricotta filling. You're gonna wanna go with 32 ounces of ricotta. Now, ricotta's a weird thing. It's not a solid, but it's not a liquid either. It's odd. And you'll know that when you start, working it out like this. It's a weird thing. So anyway, you're gonna wanna distribute it through the pot, and then you're gonna wanna take 2 eggs that you whisked up and add them in. Obviously, a KitchenAid mixer would be great for all of this, but use what you got. Make sure it's perfectly mixed up, really nice. You can add, I think, he called for 3 tablespoons of Parm Romano. So add that cheese in there. Add a dash of cinnamon. Definitely try to add in 3 tablespoons of parsley. Also, I didn't have it for this, but calls for it in the recipe. Look, that's actually looking extremely good. Now it's time to get to the shells. So, again, this dough is not going to rise. You're going to want to go ahead and quarter it up. Yeah, that's basically exactly how it sounds. Here's the interesting thing. You're going to go ahead and smash it. Try to flatten it out, but try not to make it too wide, because here's the next part. This is my grandfather's pasta maker. Now, not everybody has one of these. This is really old school. You have different settings on there, like that's like a fettuccine. This one's more of like a spaghetti, but what you're gonna want is the obvious, setting for making shells, so it's gonna be flattened out. Now here's a 19-year-old Gordon Ramsay. Look at him crank through that. Obviously he's under the gun here with his teacher, probably riding him. So anyway, if you don't have a pasta maker or a rolling pin, you can use a jar, but I'm warning you, you will have a tough going, and these are gonna turn out thicker than what you need. So there's just only so much you can do with arm strength. Now, these are typically about a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons of the filling. Now, here's my mistake. I used too small of a glass. You can kind of see later on how this is going to be different than what I show you next, but it didn't leave a lot of room for making the pincher on the outside. And also, I used 2 different sheets of the dough, and I just didn't like how this turned out, but I figured I'd at least show my mistake. So what happened here is it's looking really, really good, right? And I'm kind of proud of myself. But as I go ahead and I pinch these, again, there was just not enough room. And what happened was when I put these inside of the boiling water, the ricotta kind of exploded through, and it basically escaped into the pot and made a huge mess. So the first batch, a lot of them failed. So here I am with the rolling pin. This is in between using a jar and all the way up to the pasta maker. Rolling pin's really good for this. As you can see, this is a much wider mouth glass, and that gave me more room to work with. And also I used 1 sheet and folded it over rather than using 2. I figured it just simplified everything. And here I'm kind of, instead of just, cutting them, I'm kind of eyeballing and then double checking my work. And sure enough, I liked it. And these turned out just fantastic, as you can see. Now, you're gonna wanna make them fast because they do kind of harden up on the counter, and you might wanna flour your counter because mine got stuck to them. Just a million things are gonna go wrong here, but you wanna go ahead and boil these for about 6 minutes or until they float. You might wanna add a minute or 2 if you're paranoid about, raw ingredients. Anyway, this turned out really good. It was really fun to make it. I wish my grandfather was still here because I cannot make it as good as he did. And, man, I just miss him. So This one's for you, Grandpa.